And we are live, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It is Chosen Wisdom Football, a channel for the football purist, a channel for the critical thinkers, for the Manchester United fans who like to think about things. We say what we see, not just how we feel, not just about emotions, people. It's also about objectivity as much as we can make it, people. Big up yourselves. I hope everybody is feeling well. There is a lot to get into, people. We are gonna start as usual with the transfer updates, all your transfer news here in one place. So we will go through the latest transfer news with you guys before we get into yesterday's game. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have slept, you've woken up, you've had time to think, time to cool down, time to collect your thoughts, maybe less emotional, more objective, and therefore you can assess yesterday's game using different lens. You can look at yesterday's game in a different light and maybe come to a different conclusion. Who knows? But I'm pretty sure, guys, we want to talk about the fallout, people. The fallout from yesterday's game, which is huge. Huge. You got Bruno quotes. You got KOBBIE Mainoo quotes coming out as well. There's a lot of people talking. Amorim out trending. There's a lot to talk about, guys. A lot going on after yesterday's game. People are not happy. The fan base isn't happy, people. So we will talk about it as usual on this channel. We will try to give a different spin on things. We will try to do it our way on this channel. So big up the chat first and foremost. As always, pay your respects to the chat. Jerry in the chat. Big up Jerry. Already Jerry's saying in the chat that Bruno is a joke with the whole ref pushed me and didn't apologize. Yep, he said this. He said that in the interview, Jerry. I cannot believe our captain has said something like this. We will get into it, people. We will get into it. Big up TK in the chat. Turkish as always. So big up everybody. I hope everyone's feeling good. I hope people are not too pissed off, not too frustrated. Hopefully people can start having conversations about what needs to happen next when it comes to this manager. But on today's show, we will just go through the latest news. We'll talk about Hojlund deal. Yes, Hojlund to Napoli is almost done, people. It seems like Hojlund is on his way to Napoli. So we'll discuss that deal, people. Also, as I've said before, Ruben Amorim has given his post-match interview and he has released. He said some things about KOBBIE Mainoo. Is KOBBIE Mainoo going to leave Manchester United? We've seen rumours about KOBBIE Mainoo leaving about a month ago, early on in the window. His salary, his contract, his game time, all of these things were up in the air. All of these things he wanted to secure with the club. And now, because of what happened yesterday, because once again, 2 games in a row, we have not seen KOBBIE Mainoo on that pitch. So there's now talk about KOBBIE Mainoo leaving again. We will talk about that as well. We'll talk about Ruben Amorim's quotes. Ruben Amorim has come out and he stated what went wrong. He's spoken about what went wrong. We're going to listen to what he says, and we're going to try to understand what the hell he's talking about. What is he talking about, guys? Mario Silva also came out, spoke about Manchester United in his interview, spoke about how to beat us. The whole world seems to now know how to beat Manchester United, how to beat Amorim's system. Iwobi has come out and spoken about how to beat our system and how to beat us. Funny enough, Fulham didn't actually beat us yesterday. It was a draw. So I also want to step back a little bit and remind people that we didn't lose. And the way that Silva, Iwobi and some of the Fulham people and players are now coming out, and the way that they're talking, it seems as if they think they beat us. So I don't know. Anyway, I also have some clips of Bruno to show you guys. I have some clips of Bruno in the game for us to watch and for us to discuss as a channel. as a group. Amorim has also spoken on Sesko. We can talk about those quotes as well. So there's a lot for us to get into, as well as the transfer stuff. As I've just mentioned, there's a lot of fallout from yesterday's game. So big up the chat. Big up TK Jerry, like I said before. Jerry says Keane would have pushed the red over. Cantona would have kung fu'd his ass. TK says, I'm not pissed off. 5 years ago, I learned to curb my expectations with this club. No bar, no broken hearts. That is definitely one way to approach it. I tried to approach it that way, TK, the way you're doing it. The more you invest, the more hope you have for this club, the more you will be hurt, the more you'll be angry, and the more you'll be frustrated. So, as TK says, if you approach this whole thing, if you approach Manchester United, yes, you still love the club, still support the club, but if you approach this with little expectations, then it might be better for your mental health. I don't know. Just saying. Just agreeing with TK. Anyway, guys, let's get into it. Let's get stuck in today. First and foremost, let's get the transfer stuff out of the way, people. Let's get this out of the way. Ben Jacobs is totally on this. He's on the whole Hojlund to Napoli situation. He's come out and he's basically stated that Napoli are now in advanced talks for Rasmus Hojlund. It's not just conversations, it is personal terms agreed. Man United and Napoli are now almost agreeing terms. It is very, very close to happening. It probably will happen, guys. It will happen. I don't see a reason for it not to happen. The way that everybody is reporting on it, it's going to be a loan with an obligation to buy, not a what's the other thing? Option. So United wanted an obligation. They've got the obligation. It is not a loan with an option. It's a loan with an obligation. And the deal is going to be worth almost £40 million, which is exactly what Manchester United wanted. So we are getting what we wanted. We're getting the player out the door and we're getting money. Hopefully, if his loan spell is a success, they'll buy him and we'll get the money for him. So it looks as if this deal is going ahead. It's very interesting, though. Very interesting, because we'll talk about it later, and we'll talk about KOBBIE Mainoo leaving and other players potentially leaving. And in my opinion, how managers come in to the football club, managers who don't have a big reputation, but because our mindset is always to back the manager, we sometimes allow mediocre managers to come into this football club, do what they want, get rid of some players that they shouldn't be getting rid of, and leaving us in worse situations than we were before. After Amorim is finished with this football club, are we going to be 16th, 17th? When Ten Hag was finished, we were 15th. Amorim, by the time he's finished and he's got rid of KOBBIE Mainoo, got rid of all our future talents to fit his quirky little system, when he's finished throwing his grenade into Manchester United, where are we going to be afterwards? I'm just asking. I'm just putting a question out there. Maybe Amorim is the right guy. Maybe these are just teething problems and he's the perfect person to take Man United forward. But my question to people is this. This whole back the manager at all costs, no matter who he is. What if he's the wrong guy? What if, just like Ten Hag, who was the wrong guy, and people backed Ten Hag over, I don't know, Sancho, and they backed Ten Hag over this player, and they backed Ten Hag over that player. What if Amorim's also the wrong guy, and we're backing a manager over getting rid of Hojlund? We're backing the manager over getting rid of certain players. Maybe if KOBBIE Mainoo leaves, are you guys still going to back the manager? If Leniero leaves this summer and Leniero says, I can't work with this manager, are you still going to back the manager? Everyone has a limit, right? Everyone has a limit. Everyone has a tolerance. And I think some United fans were never backing the manager in the first place. We're always Amorim out, and this has just kicked them over the edge. And they're now fully Amorim out. The Bruno situation, the KOBBIE Mainoo situation, and all the other situations that came before, it's just pushing some United fans over the edge. And I understand it. I totally understand it, people. So it is what it is. There on your screen, people, there's an Italian journalist who's given just a bit more detail on the Hojlund deal. So let me just quickly let you guys know what the detail is. He's once again talking about the positive talks between Napoli and Manchester United, saying that we're one step away. The loan will be 5 million euros and the option to buy will be 40 million euros. And also he's agreed personal terms. Hojlund has agreed personal terms for a contract up until 2030. That's a 5-year contract worth 5 million a year. Personal terms agreed. Contract is more or less agreed. Man United will sign. Napoli will sign. Hojlund will sign. This is done. This is done. And on your screen, this is the most recent update. So this, guys, is... yeah, so this is the most recent update with regards to Hojlund. So everybody in the chat is fully aware with what is going on with Hojlund. Negotiations between Napoli and Man United are in the final stages. Once again, we know that. That's just repeating what we already know. With buy option clause to become mandatory for Rasmus Hojlund. So that's the bit that they're ironing out, the buy option clause. Once they've just finalized the wording, and they have to make sure the wording is right, because we saw what happened with Jadon Sancho. Chelsea somehow got out of the situation because of how the contract was worded. We need to make sure the wording, the obligation wording, and what needs to happen once you've agreed, we need to make sure that is tight, that they can't worm out of the obligation. So that's the last bit of it, people. Like I keep saying, it will happen. He will leave the club, and we will just have technically Sesko, and if you count Xerxes as a striker, Xerxes as the only 2 strikers at the football club. So that's your transfer update, guys. There's no real news regarding Garnacho. Not really. There's no updates regarding Sancho. There's no big updates regarding Anthony either. With regards to the bomb squad today, people, there's not a lot of news regarding those players. And I believe we have 8 days to go now, or is it 7? 7 or 8 days to go. Not a long time at all, people. So those guys are still here. Very interesting that it is Hojlund that's going to leave first. Hojlund was not on that list of players not 2 weeks ago, not even 3 weeks ago. He's a new player added to that list, and he's going to leave well before the others leave. Think of that, what you wish, people. I don't know what that means to you guys, what conclusions you're going to take from that fact, but it's quite interesting that Rashford, who for me, in my opinion, would have been the last one to leave. I would have picked Rashford to leave last because of his high wages and the fact that nobody can afford his fee. But Rashford left first, and now followed by Hojlund. Very, very interesting, people. Anyway, let me know what you guys are thinking about that. There's also a poll on your screen. Why did we not win against Fulham? I know, guys, it's quite crude. The poll is quite crude. It's not very expansive, but it's quite fun. Just let me know, why didn't we win against Fulham? Was it the starting 11 and the subs? Bruno? The system, which doesn't work? Or the club owners? All right. I'm going to vote. There you go. I have voted. Let's quickly see what the chat is saying. TK says, I'm sure it's harder for you guys in the UK as footy is life there. Easier here to tune that out. TK, you're right there. Is a good point. Where you are, maybe you can tune it out a bit more. Over here, not so much. It is religion here. It is life over here. You can't escape. Footy banter is everywhere, bro. So it probably means a lot more to people over here. Probably not to you. I'm pretty sure you're a hardcore fan. You know, hardcore. Jerry says Max Source, De Bruyne, Hojlund, Napoli. Yeah, Napoli. Napoli have won the league again. Like, one thing about Napoli are doing, right? Napoli are taking, and this is very important, the Italian league is not so much about pace and power, right? But if you have pace and power in that league, you look really good. Hojlund looked really good in that league, right? Napoli, you got the Scott McTominays, you got your Kevin De Bruyne's, you got a lot of Premier League stars that can handle themselves. And then you're buying Hojlund. Listen, whatever you think about Hojlund is going to do work at Napoli. I think he will. So I'm with Jerry on that one. Big up Wendell in the chat. Big up Wendell. I hope you are well, my guy. If Chelsea can sell 1 to 2 more, Garnacho will go, says Jerry. Wendell says Mainu leaving will be the biggest mistake. The club was supposed to be more ruthless and sell the deadwood. Bruno leaving next season before you sell Mainu. Niche fan in the chat. Big up Niche fan. I hope you are well also, my friend. Gary Neville had a better record at Valencia over 28 games than Amorim at United. Gary was branded the worst manager ever. What does that make Amorim? Thomas Frank, back-to-back wins. Sack him now. Very, very strong words by Niche fan. He's not mixing his words at all in the chat. Sack the manager. Sack him now. Gary Neville, who we laughed at, he had a terrible record at Valencia. We all know about that. The class of 98, 92, right? None of them are good managers. None of Fergie's fledglings, none of the guys who Fergie mentored have become good coaches or good managers, including Gary Neville. He had a terrible record at Valencia. And yet our manager, who we are still holding up, who we are still backing, has a worse record than him. We need to talk about it, guys. We need to talk about backing the manager. We need to talk about the psychology of this, because the question I have for the chat is this. What if you're backing the wrong manager? There are certain people in the fan base who believe you have to back the manager regardless because he is the manager, right? And I understand that, because you need to listen to the boss. There has to be a boss. There has to be somebody in charge. The question is, how do you decide who's the right manager and who's the wrong manager? That's the question. Another question I want to ask the chat really is this. What if you have the wrong manager and this wrong manager is getting rid of players who you know are good players, but you're not supposed to turn on the manager? But at the same time, if you're not supposed to be player FC. So what do you do? What do you do if this manager came round and said, I want to sell Cunha and Lenny Euro? Do you continue saying, back the manager? Or do you then say, hold on a second, I'm prepared to back the manager, but this is a bit too much. This is a bit too far. Everyone has their tolerance. There'll be people right now who still will be, do you know what, back the process, back the manager, give him his players, get him a new midfield, keep backing him, sell KOBBIE Mainu, sell all these players that he wants to be sold, give him what he wants, it will work. I'll ask these players, what makes you so sure? What is the evidence that makes you feel like this system will work in the Premier League? Where's the evidence to make you feel that this manager will be a success in the Premier League? Because if you allow every single manager that the owners bring in to do what they want, you end up finishing 15th and 16th. Us finishing 15th didn't happen overnight, people. It's a culmination of everything that happened before Ten Hag, before Oli, before Jose, before. It's a steady decline that we have been seeing due to bad decisions, bad recruitment of players and bad recruitment of managers. My question to the chat is also this. If we are going for Prem-proven players and everything's Prem-proven and proven, why do we have a manager who is unproven in the Premier League? Think about that for a second, people. Why are we scared to get a Prem-proven manager? Why do we go outside of the Prem to get another quirky foreign manager? We went from Ten Hag, right, who played a very kinky system, wanted to do this 3-1-6, one person in the midfield, play with a little polo, hold in the middle, right? His little quirky system. And we went to another foreign manager, unproven in this league, with another kinky system. There's a lot to think about, guys. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot of ways we can tackle this thing as a fan base and as a chat. And I'm hoping that you guys in the chat will help us sort of, tackle this in a certain way. Anyway, let me see what the chat is saying. Wendell says, cannot blame the manager. He requested for a midfielder and the club failed him in this regard. But what he did yesterday with his subs was criminal. I would sell Bruno and go in for Baleba. So Wendell, a bit more rounded. And that's probably, I approached it the same way. I said the manager has a part to play in the result. Yes, the team he selected, the changes he made, and of course, his system that we play. However, the manager did not force Bruno to miss the penalty. The manager did not force Cunha to miss his shot. So there are things that the manager, just in yesterday's game, if you're going to isolate and just purely talk about yesterday's game alone, there'll be some things that the manager, of course, has to take responsibility for. And there'll be some things that's outside of the manager's responsibility. He brought on Dalot. He did bring on Dalot for Ahmad. He made defensive changes. He brought on 3 defenders, Heaven, Maguire, and Dalot. When we wanted to chase the game, when we wanted to score, he brought on 3 defenders. No one's forcing our manager to do that. He brought on Dalot for Ahmad. Ahmad wasn't having the greatest game, but you don't bring on Dalot for Ahmad if you want to score a goal. You don't do it. You just don't do it. I don't care if Ahmad's having a bad game. You don't take off Ahmad for Dalot if you want to score a goal. One person is a goal scorer, the other is not. You just don't do it. And he did it. And what did Dalot do? What did Dalot do? He tried to do a little spin. He tried to do a little spin, a little skill in the middle of the park. He turned like he was in slow motion, people. It was the slowest turn, a little spin ever. Got tackled, then we scored. Then Fulham scored. And apparently Bruno was the guy who wasn't marking, what's the Arsenal player called? Who scored? The ex-Arsenal guy who scored. Yeah. Apparently it was Bruno who wasn't marking Smith Rowe. And it was the manager who picks Bruno. It's the manager who doesn't take Bruno off when he's having a bad game. He keeps him on for the whole 90 minutes, regardless of how he's performing. That's crazy to me. That's insanity to me. It's insanity. Anyway, Wendell says Amram and his predecessors failed because they walked into Amram walked in and had to send more than half of his attack on loan. Ten Hag lost because of favoritism. Amram starting to do the same. Favoritism. British Bulldog. What? I don't want that is British Bulldog. Hilven Mason. Big up Hilven, bro. Hope you're feeling well. Hope you are good, my friend. Please, we need to sell Bruno. The guy keep playing out of position. We need to talk about Bruno. What's the song goes? Can you about Bruno? We don't talk about Bruno. What's that film? That's a cartoon, right? We don't talk about Bruno. Encante, whatever. Anyway. Heaven, we're going to talk about Bruno. Wendell is not just a manager. The recruitment team must use their common sense, says Wendell. I agree. Big up British Bulldog in the chat anyway. Niche fan says Baleb's gone forever now. Real Madrid are selling Camavinga. It's so painfully obvious Baleba will have Real Madrid in for him. Baleba Valverde is the ultimate midfield. Oh, man. Oh no. British Bulldog says, if I was Manu, I'd be away from United. They're ruining his development like they always do. British Bulldog, you might have something there, my friend. Like, British Bulldog, one thing we do agree on is that we don't develop youngsters. That's one thing we do agree on, bro. And whether it's Garnacho or Hojlund, like, listen, I've always said, listen, I don't like those two players, but we failed them. And just like Kobbie, right now, we're going to fail him. We're going to fail him. Like, we don't nurture young talent. Look what happened to Mason Greenwood. That stuff that happened with Mason, you can argue it's nothing to do with the club. That's his personality, blah, blah, blah. But he's a child, bro. If I can talk to you guys about safeguarding and safeguarding procedures that all companies need to have when it comes to children, social workers that need to be involved when it comes to under 15s, under 16s at football clubs. If I can have a serious conversation with you guys, Manchester United knew about Mason Greenwood and what he was doing. They knew exactly. They knew what sort of person he was. They knew how his hot. They knew 100%. There's no. They knew, and they also failed him. They did. So United, Manchester United. I don't know the last youngster that came out of our youth team. Let me try to think. And played 4, 5, 6 years. Apart from probably Rashford. It's Rashford. I'm just trying to think, people. And before that, you could Pogba. I wouldn't even class Pogba, but you could if you wanted to. I'm just trying to think. Before Rashford was there, Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck before Rashford. I don't know, people. Maybe I'm not thinking straight. I don't know. You guys know more than me. The chat knows more than me anyway. Rooney wasn't. Come on now. Rooney wasn't part of United youth, man. We bought Rooney at 16 from Everton. Come on now. Come on now, mate. You should know that. Let's see what the chat is saying. Wendell, Amram is a good coach, but he inherited a bad team. I'm yet to see that good coaching though, Wendell. My issue is he hasn't. Every good coach, Thomas Frank, all of these guys come in and they don't need their own players. They don't need 100 million players. They improve the players that are already there with their coaching. I've seen glimpses of his system work. I have. I'm not going to sit here and lie to the chat and say I haven't seen little glimpses of Amram ball. I literally do tactical analysis videos. I have seen little glimpses, but I don't know if it will be fruitful here in the Premier League. I think to see Amram ball, if there is a thing, work to perfection, he needs 11 world-class footballers in every single position, and he'll never get that. Football is not this. Pep doesn't get all the players he needs and wants. Slot will never get all the players he needs and wants. I just feel like this manager is a kind of manager that he needs, so like a specific type of footballer that is very hard to get, and therefore we might not ever see his system. Even if it works, you can even think you might decide it doesn't even work in the Premier League anyway. But I don't know if we're going to get this manager every specific type of player. My question to you guys is this, and I've asked this in the watch along. If you get your Baleba and if you get your Adam Wharton, can you see a dramatic improvement in the way that we play, considering the fact that we've got all of our 3 attackers already? So if you're saying we only need 2 players in this team to make this team from crap to world class, I don't believe you. I still think, yeah, even if we get Baleba and you Adam Wharton in this team, which means you've given the manager all the players he's wanted, I still think this manager will come up short. That's my honest opinion, guys. You might disagree, and of course you let me know. But you guys, the chat is really good at contextualizing what you guys think. Because when I'm reading out your comments, it is detailed. You guys are coming up with solutions. You guys are coming up with really insightful points. And that's what I like about this chat. Nobody just shouting and saying any crap. Wendell, BB, Niche Fan, TK, all intelligent people saying intelligent shit. And Jerry. So, big up the chat. Let's see what KOBBIE is saying, because I've been talking for too long, guys, and I apologize. So let's see what KOBBIE, or what's been said about KOBBIE. All right. So Ruben Amorim, and I listened to Ruben Amorim's press conference as well. I heard what he said. It frustrated the hell out of me, guys. It did. But Ruben Amorim has told Kobbie Mainoo he has to compete with Bruno Fernandes for a place in the team. We've heard this before, right? The manager has said this 2 or 3 times. The question I have for the chat, this is a question I have for the chat. Why do you think all of a sudden the manager is letting it known who people are competing with for what spot? He never spoke like this last year. He never said this last year. He never said, oh, this player is not playing because of another player. You know, when you say something is not happening because of another player, what you're doing is dividing. Whenever you do this, whether it's politics, whether a politician says to you, the reason why you're not earning any money is because that foreigner over there is taking all your money. Or the reason why you're not succeeding is because that person's in your way. What you're doing by that narrative is creating division. You're making Kobbie fans hate Bruno, and Bruno, that's what he's doing. So I don't understand why all of a sudden he's coming out with narratives like Casemiro is fighting with Ugarte and Kobbie's fighting with Bruno. Because all of a sudden, in your head, you're like, oh, fuck Bruno. But no, it's not fuck Bruno. The manager has just created a narrative posing 2 players, but he's created a narrative. So it's not Bruno's fault, it's the manager. Why can't Kobbie, for the last 10-15 minutes of a football match, if we need to score, why can't we play both Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno in that midfield if we're trying to score a goal? Why? Anyway, he goes on to say he's fighting for the position now with Bruno, Amorim said. So he just needs to fight for the position with Bruno in training like it should be at Manchester United. So also, this is the kind of stuff here that Ten Hag said when it comes to Sancho. This manager is maybe trying to elude, that Kobbie Mainoo is not doing certain things in training, right? This is how managers get rid of players. If this manager wants to right now, he can turn the screw and start saying things like Kobbie Mainoo doesn't do it in training, which is going to make people think Mainoo's lazy. He doesn't work hard in training. Get rid of him. This is how managers get rid of favourites. If a manager knows a player is a favourite and he has to get rid of him or wants to get rid of him and wants another midfielder, he will say certain things to turn you against it. That's why I'm always saying, listen, chat, just be careful, when you're reading things, when you're absorbing things online, anything you absorb, be careful about the narrative, that is being trying to be forced into your head, or a narrative that the media are trying to form. Just be careful. That's what I'm going to say. Anyway, this is where he said it. This is where he said it. I don't need to reiterate what he said. He just said he's fighting with Bruno for the position. When I changed it with Mason Mount. So this is why, he's trying to justify why Mason Mount, and if you guys remember the game, Mason Mount was moved into the double pivot with Bruno. And that's why a lot of people are angry, because a lot of people are thinking, hold on a second. British Bulldog spoke about a million number 10s, right? BB spoke about this. We got loads of number 10s, right? And he moved a 10, Mount, with another 10, Bruno, and played the 2 10s in the double pivot. Cool. Loads of fans are now saying, hold on a second. Why couldn't you play Kobbie there if you're willing to do that? You're willing to move Mason Mount, in a double pivot position that he doesn't play and he's never played, where Kobbie Mainoo played midfield for a whole season under Ten Hag. He knows, maybe not a double pivot position, but he knows the midfield position. He played in the midfield for England in an international tournament, bro. He plays that position better than Mount. He does. And you're telling me that you couldn't get him on? And also, are you really saying that after Bruno's performance yesterday, you couldn't sub him off last 5 minutes and give Kobbie a little run out? It's very, very, very strange, people. Very strange. Let me see what the chat is saying. Jerry says, look, putting Mount back alongside Bruno just shows he doesn't like Mainoo, which is what, Jerry, which is what I'm trying to allude to. What can we think about Mainoo's qualities, guys, as a footballer? right? Think about Mainoo's qualities as a footballer and why the manager doesn't like him. That could be something, right? The only thing I can think about, right, is Mainoo's speed across the grass, right? His aggression. He's not the quickest and he's not the most aggressive. He's very much of a laid back, sort of luxury, smooth footballer that could easily fit into some sort of Man City 3. But the way that this manager plays football, this sort of like heavy metal, aggressive pressing, kind of Liverpool-esque, the Klopp Liverpool team, that sort of back to front, quick transition. That kind of football is not conducive for every player that we have in our team. It's not people. Niche fan, British Bulldog said Bruno was thinking about the high wage offer and kicked it high. See, that's why I love British Bulldog, you know. It comes with the jokes, always to lighten the mood. I'm convinced Bruno smacked that pen over it on purpose. He's going to Saudi and he's upset we're selling him. Listen, Niche fan, that is a conspiracy and a half, bro. Like, I would love to sell Bruno. I think the mentality of people who don't want Bruno sold is the whole, you know, some people can't imagine something afterwards. After you sold the best thing or after you've got rid of certain things, and, oh, we can't do it because he's our best player. They can't imagine life after Bruno and they are frightened. While the rest of us are like, listen, let's sell this motherfucker. You use 100 million, get Baleba. I'll do the Baleba and KOBBIE midfield right now. I would. I really would. He's basically playing Ahmad as right back. Sorry, that is Bobbins. Yeah, it's annoying though, because Ahmad was one of our better players last season. Ahmad was frightening. I'm not gonna lie, Ahmad. I like Ahmad. Don't get me wrong, people. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I like Ahmad. But I've been disappointed, a little bit disappointed with Ahmad's this season so far. I mean, he's only played 2 halves of football, to be fair. Or 1 half of football and then a little bit in the first game. But I want Ahmad to actually take his player on down the right a bit more, rather than always trying to cut in on his left. That's what I want him to start doing for me. Jerry says Bruno has to be dropped for a mid. Jerry, I would love Bruno to be dropped. He doesn't need to play against Grimsby. Can we all hold our hands up and say Bruno he doesn't need to be played against Grimsby. He doesn't. So can we see a different midfield, please? Please. Please, manager. Please. Also, chat, fundamentally, I have another question for you guys. And this is a fundamental question based on the system. And I've asked this question many times. And I'm still considering it myself. Does a 2-man midfield work in the Premier League right now? Most teams, even when playing 3 at the back, still play a 3-man system. I've said that it's going to be okay in some parts because of our 210s, right, who drop back into midfield, who can overcrowd the midfield. That worked against Arsenal. We overcrowded Arsenal's 3-man midfield by bringing the 210s, sometimes the 310s into that midfield and having 5 people. I like that. I like when I saw that. However, against Fulham, it didn't work. One, the 310s didn't drop back. We actually played Cunha as a striker, so he didn't really drop back as much. The 210s dropped back, but even they didn't drop back as much and join in the play. So that midfield area wasn't overcrowded as we played against Arsenal. And secondly, or thirdly, Fulham actually put 4 people in that midfield area. They play with their midfield 3, but when you listen to Marco Silva speak after the game, he said they added another player. They played 4 people in that area. They tried to overcrowd us in the midfield. They put 4 against our 2 maybe 3 if you consider Mount dropping into that midfield area. So against Arsenal, we overcrowded them. Against Fulham, Fulham came and overcrowded us, overloaded us in the midfield eventually. That's what happened. And that's going to be one of the focuses of my tactical analysis video when I eventually do it. So yeah, it's very, very intriguing how the game went and the spaces that were found within the game. Anyway, what's British Bulldog saying? British Bulldog says, to be fair on Bruno, he played out of position. That is true. That is true. We also need to acknowledge the fact that Bruno doesn't play in that position. He doesn't pick the ball up from the defense. He's not a DM. Like, you don't know how Pogba is such a good footballer. Pogba can play anywhere. Pogba can pick the ball up from the DM. Absolutely fine. Pogba can play box to box. Absolutely fine. Pogba can play number 10. Absolutely fine. He can play left side as a winger. Supremely talented footballers can play anywhere because he can drop a shoulder. He can do so much. Bruno's very limited. He can't pick the ball up from the defense. He's not a box-to-box midfielder. He probably plays better in the 10 position. The issue now is that we've now bought Cunha and Mbeumo, and the manager is going to play them over Bruno in the 10. So we're shoehorning him into the team because he's the captain. That's what I think anyway. That's what I think. Wendell says Ugarte is not good. Casemiro doesn't have legs. Yep, I agree. Bruno is a 10. Yeah, Bruno should be played further forward. You play Mount and Ugarte in a pivot instead of Mainu. 2 defenders on instead of Xerxes. Dalot is not good. We have no keeper. Yeah, Wendell is painting that very vivid picture, which is not good at all. Till the first team we do, then this is bobbiness. Niche fan says Mainu can confidently sign a new contract as Amorim will be sacked by Christmas. That's a lot of thinking, guys. A lot of people are thinking about that. How is Amorim lasting long? Is Amorim lasting long, guys? Because now Niche fan in the chat is now making me start to think. A lot of content creators are saying that he'll be gone by Christmas. Not just Niche fan. So, the club needs an exorcism, says Wendell. Bro, I need to get... Who's a good exorcist? I need to get flipping... What's that film called? With no, with John Wick guy. Keanu Reeves. We need John Constantine, people. Can we, as a fan base, go on and hire John Constantine? Yeah, okay. If there's a Constantine 2, which I know Keanu Reeves, he really wants it. We need to convince him to come to Old Trafford. He needs to go to the waterfall first. Go to the waterfall and do his little thing. And then go around the stadium and cleanse the whole thing, bro. That's what we need. You're right, Wendell. An exorcism. BB says Greenwood was sent home from England with the... This is when you were talking about fading the youngster. Yeah. Yeah, that's... Greenwood was sent home, BB, with Phil Foden. British Bulldog, I remember this. Both of them were doing naughtiness, yeah? Both of them. And Phil Foden, I think his partner was pregnant as well. But the whole story was about Mason Greenwood. And how Mason Greenwood... And I thought to myself, hold on a second. Phil Foden is 3 years older than Mason. He's a senior. He was doing the same thing. He was up to no good. And yet, nobody was talking about Foden. That's when I thought to myself, yeah, this Man United... Being a Man United player, you are in the limelight fully, bro. You cannot escape it. TK says, interesting that in the last 8 matches, including pre-season, United have lost just once, yet the sky is falling in. Yeah, see? That's why we need different perspectives in the chat, bro. That's why we need different perspectives, because that is also true. That is also true, guys. Like, you can argue, you can look at it so many different ways, and I'm not going to flipping jump on anyone's back if they look at it differently. We haven't lost. We played 2 games. One at home against the champions-elect Arsenal, and a away match against Fulham, which you could argue, not based on how we played, but based on the chances created, we could have won. Is it the end of the world, people? Are we going a bit overboard? Anyway, Wendell says Bruno, Ugarte, and Dallo will be the end of Amorim. Yeah. Amorim is stubbornness. He's gonna die on some swords, guys. He's gonna die on some swords if he's not flexible enough. Niche fan says Greenwood is morally repugnant. I don't care how good he is. I'm glad he's gone. Yeah, that is crazy what Greenwood did. I'm never ever gonna defend him for what he did, or even go into justifying anything that he did, because I agree with Niche fan. But sometimes if I'm just talking about him as a footballer, I always have to caveat and say, listen, I'm talking about this guy and his football. I'm not going into other areas. But yeah, Wendell Peterson says Amorim failed the moment he rejected the Bruno bid from the Saudis. Osman in the chat, I've been impressed by Manu since he broke through. If the manager was in love with 4-2-3-1 instead, it seems like he would be thriving. Yeah, Oz. It's so interesting how systems can make or break players, bro. That's why I got to tell people, you got to look at football differently. If a footballer does not make it at a football club, it does not mean he is crap all the time. Sometimes it means that the system that the manager is adopting isn't suited to him. That's what it means. And sometimes we just know we don't need to be aggressive when it comes to getting players out or choosing the manager's side against this player and all these things. Sometimes we just need to be above all these things and look at things in a macro way. In a macro way. And that's it, you know. So, yeah, Oz, that's true. Which means the question I have for you guys is, why does this manager only like to play one system? Why do we think this manager cannot play 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1? Why can't he? Why can't he? Because if everyone is now talking about our two midfielders and how easy it is to play against our two midfielders, what's next then? What's the next thing? If I always say this to people, because we are Man United, the Gary Nevilles, the Jamie Carragers will always do some tactical breakdown. Yeah, that's seen by about 10 million people. So everyone knows how to play against us, because there's 100 people, including myself, who does tactical analysis of Man United, who talks about how we play and how to beat us. So everyone knows. So what do you do then as a manager? Because you have to switch it up. You have to change something. You have to be unpredictable. So what do you do? What do you do? Anyway, Niche fan, Chosen, you are completely right. For Amorim Ball to work in the hardest league in the world, he needs specialist top players. Yeah, the only way I could see this Ball working, Niche fan, fully working to the way he wants to work, is if he spends £100 million on Beleba type footballers. Because at the end of the day, look at City, Cherky, Reinders. Like, I can keep going. They've got ballers and they're losing. They lost to Tottenham. So I feel like this system that Amorim is trying to implement, you could implement it well in a Portuguese league that's quite easy to play in, right? You can buy a Gyökeres from Coventry, for pennies and turn him into a beast and all these things, right? But in the Premier League, yeah, where Liverpool have about to get Isak and all the top teams have got ballers, for this system to work, he's going to have to get absolute ballers in those positions. For this system to work, he needs 10s, yeah, of the quality of the likes of Cherky for Man City. He needs 10s who can pick the ball up, can go left, go right, can do everything with the ball, can drop into the midfield. We're talking about the best footballers in the world, I think. I think that's what he needs. And he's never going to get that, ever. Which means we need a manager who can make do with some of the players he has, make some of the players he has better. We also need that manager. And this manager so far, I don't think he's improved anyone. Let me know who you think this manager has improved over the year he's been here. British Bulldog says, I even have Manu as a number 10. Listen, BB, let's not pretend, BB, that Manu wasn't or isn't a 10. Manu, if you guys don't know anything about KOBBIE Manu, in the youth team for Manchester United, he is an attacker. In the youth team for Manchester United, he is a 10. Look at the way he scores his goals last season and season before. Between the lines, cutting in, dropping the shoulder, smack, bottom corner. That's KOBBIE. KOBBIE is a left-sided 10. He drifts over onto the left. Watch him when he plays football. He's always on the left-hand side, drifting over to that side. He's a left-sided 10 at heart. We, as a football club, have tried to coach him into being a midfielder or box-to-box midfielder. There are loads of footballers that we have at this club, yeah, who don't prefer transition football, who prefer possession football, who don't have the sort of the ability to keep going back and forward, like athletes, like crazy athletes. KOBBIE, silky, not a transition footballer. Sancho, not really a transition footballer. Anthony, not really. There's a lot of players we have who are possession-based footballers. They want to keep the ball and just keep passing it. This manager doesn't really want that kind of football. Not really. Anyway, Niche fan says Baleba, Wharton, 2 wing back and a keeper is needed for Amram ball to work, says Niche fan. I hope Niche fan. Osman says British, yeah, we're the best chat. Other chats are bobbins. Wendell says Chosen, his midfield far from good enough. We have one of the best defenses and attack, but because of our midfielders, both attack and defense will suffer, says Wendell. That is true. That is true. You know when like we're discussing this, people, and there's 100 things that are true at the same time, and it's nuanced. All of these things we're saying are all true. Like, he might not be good enough, the manager, but he also needs his own midfielders. He also needs his own goalkeeper. He does need his own players, but we don't know if he's going to be good enough when he has his own players. It's still an unknown. We haven't seen it. So, I don't know, people. It's just football, guys. It's just football. What's Turkish saying? Amram saying KOBBIE has to fight for the place from Bruno is like when Triple H says he'll give the woman more screen time if they work hard enough, but he's in charge of who gets minutes. You're bringing your WWE analogies. You're right. Triple H is in charge of WWE booking, and while at the same time saying people need to work hard. Bro, you book. It's the same thing when Ten Hag spoke about Sancho and people turn against Sancho. Bro, I'm not going to turn against players here because of a manager ever again. I will not turn against a player because of a manager ever again. If I believe a player is not good enough, I'll just say he's not good enough. But managers are pricks, bro. They can be pricks sometimes. So I'm not going to... I have a manager at work. Okay, let me not go that far. Let's just end that conversation there. Let me end that conversation right there because I don't want to get fired. Man's about to flip and expose his manager, you know. Dead that. I love you, manager. I love my manager, man. I love you, manager. Don't fire me, please. But you know what I mean. All right. We got anything more on KOBBIE? Let's read up more about KOBBIE since this is the big thing everyone is talking about, people. Ben Jacobs. I need to stop saying Ben Jacobs. Where did Ben Jacobs come from? I don't know. The Meerkats. Anyway, KOBBIE mainly considering options following a diminished role under Ruben Amorim. As per Alex Crook. Oh, he's coming from Alex Crook originally. I don't know then. Alex Crook is a bit crookish. It's unclear if anything will develop in the next week. Nothing's going to develop in the next week. He's not. Listen, we can talk about Manu being unhappy, but this guy is not going anywhere. Let's relax. But yeah, just saying he's committed to staying, but lack of opportunities has changed the dynamic. I said to you guys as well that this whole playing one game a week thing, yeah, it's all good fun and games playing one game a week. But if your guy is not playing, if the manager isn't rotating, then playing one game a week, yeah, for some players, it's going to be very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. I don't know. Let's see if there's anything next. Ross Howard's coming out saying he's not leaving. I mean, I don't care what Ross Howard says. I don't think anyone in this chat thinks he's leaving this summer. Do anyone actually think he's leaving this summer? He's not leaving this summer. But he's just unhappy. So I don't believe he's leaving. I don't even know why journalists are saying that he's not leaving. Or is he? I don't know. Anyway, quickly go through the chat before we move on to Amrim's. Before we move on to find out what the hell Amrim is saying, people. KOBBIE face in that pit looks like Michaela Maroney in 2012. I need to Google that person. TK. Niche fan says, if he brings on KOBBIE for the Grimsby game, that will be so incredibly disrespectful. KOBBIE is so beautifully cultured. Listen, as much as you're saying it's a disrespect, Niche fan, I need him to play KOBBIE in the. I'm hoping, and this is not based on anything objective. This is just feelings, yeah, and hope. I'm hoping that he has a plan or something. I'm hoping there's a method to this madness. I'm hoping he's saying these things because he wants Bruno out and he wants Bruno to leave or something. I don't know, guys. I'm just hoping that he plays KOBBIE against Grimsby. We beat Grimsby convincingly. KOBBIE has a good game, and then KOBBIE starts the next game. Listen, KOBBIE might not. Listen, we don't even. For me, yeah, it's about not having favourites. I'm not even saying KOBBIE has to start over Bruno. I'm saying if Bruno's having a bad game, sub him off. Don't treat him differently. All I'm saying is treat every player the same. If they're having a bad game, just like Ahmad, just like you took Ahmad off. And for me, you don't take Ahmad off even when he's having a bad game. You just don't, like. Mbuma was having a great game. Maybe take Mbuma off, put Ahmad in the 10. Bob's your uncle. Maybe that. I don't know. Either way, all I'm saying is take Bruno off if he's having a bad game. Sub him off. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Do not go through another rebuild and have Bruno, a 31-year-old, at the center of your rebuild, bro. That doesn't make any sense. That's all I'm on. All I'm on is transparency and treating all the players the same. Bruno should have came off at 70 minutes and KOBBIE came on. Could we have lost the game? Maybe. Maybe. But at least all the fans would have been like, yeah, he took Bruno off because he's having a bad game. But at the moment, all we have is the fan base thinking there's favoritism here. There is favoritism here. And favoritism never wins you anything. Anyway. TK says, looks like he's thinking he should have swiped left. KOBBIE. Jerry says, Ugarte and Manu start Wednesday in the cup. I think so, Jerry. I think so as well. Niche fan says, Bruno's not even a midfielder. He's a 10. Whereas KOBBIE is a specialised midfielder. Wendell says, I'm sad. I think Amram will get sacked before November. Okay, Wendell. Okay. Fed up of these sad face. Bring me Onana smiling. Oh, man. I don't think Onana will be smiling, bro. Onana is the first choice goalkeeper, but we ain't seen him in 2 games. He's no longer first choice goalkeeper, Onana. That is clear. I can't see him smiling. I think, yeah, this one game a week thing, as much as we're talking about how good it is in the club, as much as we're talking about the feel-good factor and how everyone's smiling, how everyone's best friends, how everyone's drinking tea together and hugging and la la la, holding hands and playing violin and shit. Kumbaya. As much as we're doing that, this whole playing one game a week and you sitting there and watching Bruno play game after game and you not getting a game, and Xerxes 2 games in a row not playing, after a while there's going to be disgruntled people. There's going to be people who are angry. The harmony, if we don't win, there's going to be disgruntled people and angry people. So this harmony that we've built, yeah, is very fickle. It's very thin. It's not strong. It's not based on anything substantial. It's a harmony. It's a togetherness. It's a feel-good factor that will be destroyed, as you can see, very, very quickly. Yeah, very, very quickly. So keep losing matches, keep playing badly, and a lot of your players who are on the bench will become alienated, will become frustrated. You think Ahmad was happy that he didn't start against Arsenal? Do you think Ahmad was happy when he knows he's much better than Dalot? Defensively and offensively better than Dalot. Do you think, yeah, Ahmad is doing that stupid spinny thing that Dalot did to concede the goal? Do you think, and if Ahmad tried it, do you think Ahmad's going to do it in slow motion, or do you think Ahmad's got quick feet? Spin, 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 he's out of there. Ahmad's not doing what Dalot did to concede that goal. He's not. So Ahmad got taken off. He sat there and watched the player who went on after him, who he got subbed off for. He sat and watched that player F up and more or less concede a goal. So there are going to be players who are going to start getting angry, start getting frustrated, and this so-called harmony that we built up through pre-season, gone in a flash. Jerry says, what happens if you draw at Burnley and get smashed by City and Chelsea? Jerry, then he might be gone. He might be gone. British Bulldog says he will play Bruno in his 10 position with 2 midfielders behind him. British Bulldog said we got 10s everywhere. We got 10s everywhere. We got 10s everywhere, bro. Most 3-man midfields are actually a box with a withdrawn forward or inverted fullback. 2 CMs can only work with all other positions converging more into the middle and taking those spaces. Yeah, Osman, I understand that. I hear that. Which is why I've said that our 2-man midfield can work if the 2 10s who make the box, midfield, close that gap and make it a very, very small gap, i.e. become 4 midfielders and they overcrowd that area. We are fine when we do that. That is what we do. But when we don't do that, and if Fulham, as they did in the game yesterday, with their 3-man midfield, add another midfielder and add another one, make it 5 in that middle of the area, they then overcrowd us. So what do we do? Nishvan says 4-3-3 is an optimal formation for the Premier League. The reasons Amram got away with the system in Portugal is that it's slower. He had the best players and the league doesn't have strength in depth. There you go. If you have the best players and you play that, you can play any system you want. I don't think the system is what really made Amram. Amram just got the best players in Portugal. Those players could have played 4-3-3 and won. I'm pretty sure, guys, tell me if I'm wrong, Amram left Sporting and Sporting still won the league, right? Let's check. Did Sporting Lisbon win the league without Amram? Because this will prove. Let's see. Portuguese league 24. What? League 2024. Yeah. So my point is that when he left Sporting and left Sporting with his coaches and everything, and Sporting were just naked, they had to get a different manager, and that manager will play a different system. And guess what? They still won the league. So if you have the best players, fuck the system. You're probably going to win. It wasn't the system. It was the fact that he had the best players in Portugal. So back to my point, I said the only way for this system to work is if he has the best players in this league, just like he had the best players in the Portuguese league. He will never have the best players in this league, not while Liverpool, Man City and these guys are around, which means his system needs to add at least 10 or 20% onto the players. If he will never get the best players in this league, your system will need to improve the players that you have. The system does not improve the players. Nobody is better with this system. Think about that for a second, people. Anyway, let's quickly. It's 8:30. I know I talk a lot, guys, and I apologize for talking a lot, but I hope I'm giving you guys a lot of talking points and things to discuss. Let's listen to what this guy is saying. Let's just have it here. Hopefully you guys can hear. Let's turn the volume up and hear Ruben Amorim after the match, doing this post-match interview on the pitch.
That changed the game was our goal. We need to do better in that moment. That is the moment to have more possession, to think to think better the game. But again, we want to win so bad that the lads just think about the results, and we need to think about the performance no matter what in this moment. But they gave everything. Sometimes we are not running in the right way, but we are running and we fight.
We're not running the right way.
A point, and we need to continue. And I think the momentum that
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I listened to that about 5 times, and I'm like, he hasn't actually said where we went wrong. He said that it went wrong after we scored the goal, right? He said it went, and I said, cool, that's fine, but he hasn't said why. He said that we stopped performing and all we did was want to win. We focused on winning rather than performing. I'm like, what? What? What do you mean? How does that... What? What's this guy on? Let's see what the comments are saying in there. Yeah, I don't understand what he was saying there. I don't think, he knows what went wrong. I think, I'm convinced, that when Amorim is there, with his hands in his head, when he's there doing his little squat, like he's taking a poo, when he's there squatting and doing all these things, I'm not fully convinced he's like a Jose. Like Jose Mourinho, you're kind of convinced that Jose can watch the game and Jose will know exactly what is going wrong and Jose will make a mad substitution change. Jose is that guy, right? I'm not convinced that this guy is fully understanding what is going wrong and what he needs to do to change it. Based on his substitutions and based on the in-game management that I've seen from him for the past year now, I don't know about this guy. Like, he couldn't tell us what went wrong, really. It went wrong after we scored the goal. But why would it go wrong after we scored a goal? This is your team that you're building, bro. I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys, but I didn't really understand a lot of what he was saying. That was like a word salad for me. But this guy was very clear. Marco Silva. And this is what he said. And it will prove my point. We knew how they defend and we know they like to squeeze from the back 5. Cool, that's true. Let's read on. And if you don't give bodies for them to squeeze, because we do the man-for-man pressing, right? If you don't give bodies for them to squeeze from the back 5, right, you can create superiority in the middle. That's what I said. Exactly what I said to you guys. So, if you don't push up to our back 5 players, if you don't give our back 5 players to mark, and you put 5 players in that middle against our 2, we're done. Because the back 5 are not going to move into... You guys really need to watch my tactical analysis videos because it explains everything. Like, against Arsenal, what we did is force Arsenal to squeeze in, right? And that made space for our wing-backs, for Mbumo and other players down wide. They never did that. And we don't squeeze in. If there are 4 or 5 players overloading our midfield, our right centre back, our left centre back, our right wing back, our left wing back will not squeeze in to those spaces. So all you're going to have is the same shape at the 5 at the back, 2 midfield, and 3 up front, whatever, with 4 or 5 of your opposition players in that midfield area. We're not going to squeeze into the area. So they're going to do their little passing around, overload us in the middle, and then separate, and then attack us, and then that's it. So, I don't know, man. And Iwobi's now come out and he said, we knew that we would be able to get behind their 2 midfielders and that their centre-backs would want to jump. We exploited that today. So, they've got a way of playing against us. They figured us out. They figured out our manager very, very easily. But I will say this, though. I will say this, people. Fulham's manager, Iwobi, and a few of the Fulham players are talking like they won the game. You know, these are the kind of things you say when you've beaten somebody. Oh, we knew how to play against them. We did this and we did that and blah, blah, blah. And hold on a second. Did you? You drew. You were the... Like, okay, we're frustrated, right? As United fans. But hold on a second. You were still the home team. We came to your ground. You didn't beat us. It was a draw. So can you just ease up a little bit on talking with your chest? Yeah. Like, yeah, we knew how to beat them. We did it. No, we won't beat them. It was a draw. So, yes, that is how to combat United. That is the blueprint. Unfortunately, guys, as I said before, everybody now knows. We play with the midfield 2. That is the blueprint. That is how to beat us. We just need to be. That's why also, that's another reason why the manager is playing 3-10s. I keep telling you. One of the reasons why he's playing these 3-10 formation is to overload the midfield area because he knows that's a weakness. He knows he doesn't have the midfielders. He knows he doesn't have the Baleba. So he knows he has to play Cunha, Mount and Mbeumo to protect those midfield 2. He has to overload that area. He has to. He has to. And when you bring on Sesko, a striker, he's not going to come deep and overload no damn area. He's going to be sticking up front. The system is an issue, guys. The system is an issue. Anyway, before we wrap up, also Amrim has just left a remark about Bruno. And all he said is, I felt during the match that he wasn't very happy, not very involved. He has a lot of responsibilities. I'm like, hold on a second. He has a lot of responsibilities. No, he doesn't. He's just a captain, just like Roy Keane was a captain. Just like all the other captains before him. Just like Maguire was captain. He doesn't need to take every single free kick. We have Cunha and Mbeumo. He doesn't need to take corners. Ahmad takes corners. So, what do you mean he has a lot of responsibility? Why do we infantilize Bruno Fernandes? Why do we, at the same time, say he's a captain, he's the best player, but at the same time saying he's got a lot of responsibilities? What are you talking about, bro? Why are you talking to him like he's a baby? He wasn't very happy. He wasn't very... Bro, he wasn't good. Stop talking to him like he's an infant. He's not a child. He wasn't good today. Just say it. This is scary to me. That is that he wasn't very happy. I don't care about his mood. I don't care if he's happy. This is a football match. Forget your happiness or your unhappiness. Leave it at the door. Put on your Man United jersey and play football. Why are we even introducing how he feels? Why are we introducing how how he felt and his temperament to this Discord? Do we do that to other players? Do we say, oh, Garnacho wasn't very happy today. Garnacho was sad. That's why he missed the shot. We don't do that. We don't do that, people. This Bruno thing is a virus, bro. It's a sickness enough. I don't know what it is. Anyway, guys, we're wrapping up soon anyway, people. I know I've spoken a lot, so we're wrapping up soon, people. Who says British Bulldog to catch up just... Yeah. You're funny, British Bulldog. Whatever we do, we have to keep Euro and Manu. They are the future of this club, says Niche Fan. British Bulldog says Madrid will come for Euro next 2 years. Towards his last year, they will come for him unless we sort. Yeah, British Bulldog, you're correct, bro. I've said this. All these players that we bought, like Lenny Euro, they're not going to be here for long if we don't fix up, guys. TK says prediction: we beat Grimsby and Burnley and we draw City. We will feel better. All right, TK. See, TK, that's better. TK came with the whole, we're going to lose against Arsenal, we're going to draw against Fulham, but he's been optimistic with the Grimsby and Burnley game and with the City game, because I'll take a draw. So, all right, TK, I'll raise you in that one. British Bulldog says we'll win the next 5 games. like how we won the first 5 games, BB. I hear you, bro. Nah, tell us about your manager then. That's funny. I curbed that conversation quickly. Mainly looked like he woke up Christmas morning expecting a PlayStation and got socks. Shivam, big up Shivam in the chat. Bro, please sell Bruno and get Baleba. Bro, that's what we need. We want this. The fan base wants... Listen, for a long time, yeah, I've been wanting the likes of Luke Shaw, Rashford and Bruno out the club. I've said many, many times that for us to have a rebuild, we need to get rid of certain players that are the core, the center of our team, which includes Bruno. So, Shivam, I've wanted to get rid of Bruno for at least the last 2-3 years with Rashford. Yeah, we need to sell him and we need to get a better midfielder in. I don't think he's going to go this window. It's too late. We've started the season. I don't think he's going anywhere. And the question is, will Saudis come in next year? And if they do come in next year, will they be giving us £100 million for him? Will it be much, much less? You know? Shivam said, did you read that quote that Baleba is waiting to leave and get into United? Just cash in. Shivam, I saw something online, bro. I saw something online, but it's been deleted now. That quote that you're talking about, I think it's been deleted, so I don't know. You know me, I said, yeah, that there's a 1% in me. 1% of me thinks that we might do something before the window shuts. And I say only 1%. It's literally just a feeling, a little thing in the back of my mind. After everything I've read about Jim Ratcliffe and Man United and all these things, there's something in me that makes me feel like we could do something right at the very end of the window with 3 games to go and go for Baleba. So there's talk about Brighton subbing him off twice. Listen, the fact that he's played full stop it means he's not going anywhere, because getting subbed off is anything. You started the game. You played the game. People are also saying that Baleba's performances have been poor. Are his performances poor because he's distracted now? He's not. His heart's not in it. His mind's not in it. So if he's distracted, if his head's not in it, his mind's not in it. If you're Brighton, would it be better to get rid of Baleba now? He's been subbed up because he's not playing well, and he's supposed to be their best player. So what's happened to Baleba all of a sudden? Have we done enough? Have we tapped up this player? Because that's essentially what we've done. Have we tapped him up enough, yeah, to now disrupt him mentally to the point where he can't even focus, he can't even play well? Which is, listen, tactics are tactics, bro. Tactics are look at what Isak is doing. Maybe you're right. I'm still holding out, yeah, for something cheeky for Baleba. But it's more hope. It's more based on hope and nothing objective. I like to always tell you, if I think about something, if I think something's happening, I'd like to let you know whether it's coming from an objective analysis or nothing at all, just hope and hopium. The Baleba thing is hopium. Fully hopium. Big up Shivam though. Big up Shivam. Niche fan says, Shiva, Bleb is going to Real Madrid. We had our chance to get him and we blew it. Oh, man, Niche fan. Shivam also speaking on our manager. He's a wordplay master. Cut this crap. When you start 5 number 10s out of you can't win games. I guess Maz will play at right wing back and Bruno continues. Mbumo and Ahmad will fight for the same place. I hear you, Shivam. He's definitely... When he started, yeah, I can see why we called him the poet. But you can only be called a poet when you win games. If you're talking like this and you're losing games, you go from being a poet to being a waffler. The words, yeah, the words become hollow. They become useless, pointless. And all that sweet tongue, pause, no homo, that people said you have, it will start sounding salty and sour. It's not working anymore. That sort of poetry that he used to be, like that sweet tongue of his, it's not working anymore. He sounds stupid when he comes out after a bad result and starts word salading. Doing his word salad, bro. Anyway, I need to watch the second half of the Newcastle-Liverpool game, as I'm sure you guys probably are watching it as well. TK says, I would have gone for Oliver Glasner as a manager instead of Amorim. I would have as well, TK, and I would have gone with Thomas Frank as well, TK, instead of Amorim. Amorim doesn't have a clue. It's all theatrics, says Niche fan. Squatting hand in chin, etc. No idea what he... That's how I feel, Niche fan. I feel like this guy, he's looking like he knows some stuff. He's looking like he's proper involved and intuitive, thinking about the game, but then he brings on Maguire. He brings on 3 defenders when we want to score a goal. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Anyway, Shivam and Niche fan are obviously having a conversation. Looks like Real Madrid are selling Camavinga. Liverpool are beating Newcastle 1-0, says TK. I'm going to watch the game in 5 minutes after I wrap up here with you guys. Big up the chat, man. The chat is popping, bro. The chat is chatting, man. So big up the chat. Smash the like, people, as well. 496 subscribers. We're moving, bro. We're 4 away from 500 people. We are moving up the ladder, man. This chat, this community is going up. It's going places. So smash like on exit. Smash like on entry. Subscribe if you are new. Enter the chat. Have a conversation. The people in the chat don't bite. They're all cool people. They're not going to bite your head off if you have a different opinion to them. Trust me, they're all chilled guys. I'm a chilled guy sometimes. Shivam says, imagine we sell Mainoo and Bruno still plays. It's going to be a riot and protest all over Manchester. Ah, people, okay. Last but not least, let's wrap up, people. All right. So this is Bruno. I don't really have anything more to say about this, but this is basically Bruno saying that the referee affected him. The referee upset him because he didn't apologize for brushing into him. And he was upset. And he was triggered. And that's one of the reasons why he missed the penalty. Can we just all cry and have like a word of silence, a moment of silence for Bruno? A cry for Bruno. The referee brushed his shoulder. The referee didn't apologize. And that means he missed a penalty. I can't believe, yeah, this guy said this out loud. He said this out loud. It wasn't something he thought in his head. He actually said in an interview that the referee upset him because he didn't apologize to me. And I was triggered. And that's one of the reasons why he missed it. The more you think about this, the more insane it sounds, bro. Do you know how insane it sounds? It upset me that he didn't apologize for brushing past me. This is your captain, people. This is your captain. This is the guy that most Man United fans chase Pogba out of the club just so they can have their Bruno. This is the guy. Let's move on. I got nothing to say about that tweet. And here's Ruben Amorim talking about Sesko and why Sesko has been benched. Benjamin has been with us for 2 weeks. He's trying to understand everything, which is true, people. We need to be patient a little. We just want to win the match and try to help our players. He needs time. It's not easy to play from the bench. His understanding the game is even faster than the Bundesliga, but he is fighting. He had some good connections with teammates. It sounds like the manager is protecting. If I'm being honest, it sounds like what he's trying to do is actually protect Sesko. The speed of the league and all of these things, he's basically saying he's good, but he's not there yet. Right? My thing is this. You're not going to be there unless you play games. You're not going to get up to speed unless you play games. You kind of have to play games. Training, you can train all you like. This playing one game a week and training all the time is supposed to be better for us, but have we seen an improvement? Really? There's nothing better than actually playing games. Nothing replicates that. Nothing can replace playing games. Play him. Play him from the start. Give him 60 minutes. Let's see what he's got. Because at the end of the day, Gyökeres has come from Portugal. And Gyökeres and the Portuguese league is slower than the Bundesliga. It is. But guess what? Arsenal are playing Gyökeres. Gyökeres came to Arsenal maybe a week before or 2 weeks before Sesko. 2 weeks before Sesko. Play Sesko. Is Gordon being sent off? Oh man. Anyway, before we go, finally, this is news coming out now from Fabrizio Romano's YouTube channel. He's just tweeted this. Just confirmation, people. For sure, it's difficult to accept for Mainu, but he has not communicated anything to Man United about leaving the club. He's not going anywhere, guys. The situation is under control, but of course the club has to talk to Mainu to explain the situation. He's not going anywhere, Mainu. But it's just good that we're having this conversation. It's good that we can talk about this. It's good that it's out in the open. And it's real. His place, his future, he needs to know what's going on. He needs to know what's going on. So, this is also breaking in the last few minutes, guys. So I'm being sent a lot of tweets now, people, that are just breaking while the Liverpool game is going on. And this is breaking in the last few minutes as well, people. Al Ittihad has expressed its interest to Bruno Fernandes representatives. No discussions between clubs. United remains calm. No club-to-club talks is expected unless Fernandes changes his mind about Saudi this summer. This is all... Listen, the whole Bruno thing about Saudi and I don't want to go to Saudi because the club has told me that they don't need the money and they don't... All those lies, bro. All those PR spin... Because Bruno's camp and Bruno's PR stuff is top-notch. And look what's trending. Ruben Amorim is trending. Bruno's PR is top-notch, people. Top-notch. He wants to go Saudi. And I don't think he wants the fans to hate him. He wants to go on nice terms. Hence why he's like, I'm going to go because the club needs the money. The club said, hold on a second, we don't need the money. And then he said, okay, I'm not going. The club called his bluff. I think Bruno wants to leave. I think his head's been turned. I think he was distracted against Fulham. I would sell him. I don't like the fact that some players have been forced out, like Hojlund, and some players are like, you can leave if you want to. I think we should be strong as a football club and say, Bruno, leave. Just like Hojlund, just like all the others, leave. And take the 100 million. And stop being like, well, Bruno will leave if he wants to. No. Just leave. Just be strong and leave. So, anyway, guys, I think we've reached the end of our conversations about this. We've spoken a lot on today's show. We spoke about, the one or two transfer updates with regards to Hojlund. And we spent most of the show really talking about the game, the fallout from the game, the manager's quotes about Bruno, the manager's quotes about KOBBIE Mainoo, Sesko, the team selection, the formation, what we see going forward, the future of the manager. We've had a really good conversation today, guys. The chat has flown. It's been busy. TK still in here. Shivam, big up Shivam. I guess the same applies to Amorim. Amorim is understanding the Premier League and think the game is much faster than Portuguese league. He is fighting and has 2 Portuguese obsessions and bunch of deflated players, says Shivam in the chat. Yeah, at the end of the day, guys, Amorim, we bought a manager in who doesn't understand this league. And one thing that's frustrating, guys, is that we understand the league much better than the manager, much better than Ten Hag did, much better than Amorim did. And with both managers, we had to sit here and watch the managers learn. We know about these players. We know who's good and we know who's not good, and so on and so forth. They don't. So it's quite frustrating watching new managers come in from new leagues, having to relearn again, try certain players in certain positions, having to go through the process of understanding the players, understanding who to keep and who not to keep, when we already know. So we got to sit there and be like, oh, he's picking this player. Oh, he's picking that player. He's going to learn very quickly that picking that player won't be a success. And we have to sit here and watch these managers learn on the job, learn things that we already know about the league. And it's frustrating. That is why the next manager, I hope, is from the Premier League, is from this league, so he understands what needs to be done. He understands the physicality of the league, the pace of the league, what formations work, what formations don't work. We need somebody who knows some shit about this league, not somebody who's going to take 2 or 3 years to learn and understand. That's what we need, guys. So, people. I think my brain is fried today. I think I've been talking non-stop. Oh, thank you. Lenny Euro has been voted as our standout performer against Fulham. And at the same time, League One in France have just posted a picture of Lenny Euro. I've said this many times, guys. I do not understand, after the season that Bruno Fernandes had last season, how he was still voted the player of the season for Manchester United. After watching Lenny Euro, the 18-year-old centre-back, first season in the fucking Premier League, how he bossed it. How Lenny Euro, as a teenager, a child, came to this league. This child came to this league first season and absolutely bossed big strikers. Absolutely bossed it. And you're telling me after that season Lenny Euro had last season, you're still going to vote Bruno as a player of the year ahead of Lenny Euro and Ahmad last season. Bruno was as bad last year as he has been at the start of this season. Yet Man United fans go out there and vote for him as the player of the year. The fan base is crazy. Ahead of Lenny Euro after the... Bro. It is mental. It is mental, bro. So, big up the chat. Big up Lenny. Big up Lenny Euro. Very quickly becoming our best player. On the ball, very good footballer on the ball. Off the ball, he's becoming a monster. A monster. So I'm all here for Lenny. When I see good footballers, I will praise that footballer, bro. I don't care. And Lenny is a good footballer. very good footballer. So big up the chat, big up Shivam, big up TK, Turkish, Niche Fan, British Bulldog as always, Osman in the chat, Jerry, Wendell, Hilvan. Big up everybody in the chat, everyone who's passed through, showing my love, showing my respects. Please, guys, smash the like, share the video if you can. Subscribe if you are new. It's a nice community. We have very good opinions here. We like to talk ball. We like to talk deep, detailed. We like to explore the grey areas, bro. Like, most conversations will be black and white conversations. He's shit. He's good. Man just crap. Man just good. Easy black and white conversation. On this channel, we try to be nuanced, man. We like the grey. You know, we like the nuance, bro. So big up everybody. Have a good evening. Look out for my tactical analysis vid. I'm going to try to do it. I can't do it. I might not even do it, you know. Today would have been a good day to do it, but I flopped. So I'll try to do it tomorrow, people. Look out for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Big up yourselves.